Now, there will be many people who will argue with that, and they will argue from the viewpoint that when General Buhari took over, things were quite bad.
Then they became worse.
Well, that's your statement.
No, it's not my statement, it's fact.
We went into a recession.
Because he does not know what economic management is and does not have the...
But he's the one who still pulled us out of that recession.
We are not out of recession.
Well, the Statistics Bureau and the federal government have said we are. They said so in 2016.
Do you believe them?
It's not for me to believe them or not. They're the people in a position to tell us.
Well, I am also in a position to tell you, because I can tell you that recession is tied to quality of life. Whatever your authorities tell you, if your quality of life does not improve, then you stand deceived. You stand hoodwinked. Everywhere else in the world, when they're in recession, their living standards fall. When they exit recession, their living standards improve. And I'm telling you that the Naira is our life. The Naira is our purchasing power parity. The Naira equates us with the rest of the world. Here comes a government that wipes away 60% of our worth. If you were worth 100, now you are worth 40.
There's an explanation for that. I was given an explanation.
We don't want explanation.
No, because
it
had nothing to do with the government.
Yeah.
It had to do with, especially if you're talking about the exchange rate.
Yeah.
It had to do with the value of our foreign exchange reserves, which dropped drastically as at the time General Buhari took over. That coincided with a drop in the prices of oil, which is our main export.
You're giving an answer to yourself.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that.
Let me answer you.
You are disagreeing that we're not out of recession, and that when you take the value of the Naira as a point, that could point to that. I'm saying to you that on this seat that you sat, have been previous guests before you to whom I put that precise question. And amongst them have been those who told me that that's directly linked to our foreign reserves. And that as our foreign reserves have improved, as indeed they have, the value of the Naira has appreciated. You will concede, won't you? That
I won't concede.
You will
because
concede
I have my points.
The dollars dropped, the Naira dropped to as much as 500 Naira to $1. But it has since peaked and has stabilized around.
Can I answer you?
Yes, please go on. I just said that you
just
give
hold
me
on.
Background.
Let me tell you. January 2016,
yes,
or thereabouts, President Buhari falls ill and was out of Nigeria for 100 days. Then we had an acting President Yemi Osinbajo. When President Buhari was flown out, the Naira was at 520. When friends and family were making 200 Naira per dollar, because the difference between the autonomous and the central was then in excess of 200 Naira. Now here's the catch. Acting President Osinbajo, whom I like to think as somebody who has lots of sense, whom I like to think as somebody who listens to his people, and his people happen to be the ones who pay tuition fees outside of Nigeria, must have hammered it onto him. This cannot go on. If Buhari's people don't care and they don't pay tuition fees outside, ours do, and education is our life. You must go back, and he's a responsive acting president. He changed the formula of how dollars, forex, were allocated. Instead of privileged few relatives and friends, it now went into the system proper. That was responsible for the drop from 520 to 365. Now it has fallen from 365 to about 363, sometimes 360. If you ask me why, it is because of the gale of defection, it is because of, and it is because of Ekiti elections that just held, that so much dollars were pumped out there. Now, mathematically speaking, the price of international price of crude oil when Buhari took over and was complaining, and that because of that, the dollar had to rise. Juxtapose that to the international price of crude oil today, you will find out that the price has nearly tripled. But in relative terms, from 2015 till today, the Naira has fallen 60%. So mathematically, it does not make sense. And let me tell you, every leader should manage the confidence in society. I split society into economy and communities. What the Buhari government did was to dissipate confidence.
How so?
Because those who were funding the autonomous market found it necessary now to hold back their money.
Yes, because
Simple.
because the arbitrage is no longer there.
No. Arbitrage is when you have 200 naira per dollar, not when you have 2 or 3 naira per dollar.
Then what's the explanation as to why they are not funding it?
Because they were afraid of Buhari's tactics. They were afraid of Buhari's government. Buhari's government did not give confidence to investors, did not give confidence to Nigerian expatriates abroad who are sending billions and billions to Nigeria. They had to cut it.
Good evening. Welcome to Njenje Media. This evening we'll be looking at Pitobi and Dr. Yusuf Datti Baba-Ahmed. It is an open conversation that every Nigerian is invited to have your say. And this is happening live on Njenje Media TV. The time now is 11 minutes past the hour, 5 o'clock in Nigeria. It is no longer news that Mr. Pitobi has picked his vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party of Nigeria. Now, it has been speculations as to who he was going to pick. If you recall, there was a conversation with NNPP where Alhaji Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso basically came out and made some comments that didn't go down well with some certain sections of the country. Many called that negotiation with NNPP should be boycotted. It appeared as a result of that, all the conversation broke down. Today, it has been announced that Yusuf Datti Baba-Ahmed, who is a Nigerian, is an economist and a politician. He served as a senator for Kaduna North from 2021 to 2012, and a member of House of Assembly from 2003 to 2007. A member of Labour Party he is now from today. He is the party vice presidential candidate as being nominated by His Excellency Mr. Pitobi. That has elicited joy in many quarters of Nigeria, especially what the younger ones fondly refer to as the Twitter street. Many people are happy that that has happened. Aside that, many also have raised questions as to why must it be him. To have this discussion today, in no particular order, I have many people here in the studio. And again, if you're watching right now, you want to be part of that, you can go to the comment section and the link to join us is there. I have with me Sheikh Analo. I don't know if Sheikh is ready. And I also have with me Akin Fapohunda. Sheikh, you're welcome to Njenje Media TV.
Hi, Njenje, what's up?
Thank you very much. And I also have Akin Fapohunda. Akin, good evening and welcome.
Good evening to you. Good evening.
Good evening. And we have Chukwuemeka, but it appears he's still having an issue with connection. So anyone wishing to join us, by all means, you can join us here at the Media TV. Now, let me start with Sheikh. Sheikh, what is your view regarding these, as many have said, uncommon pick by His Excellency Mr. Pitobi?
Well, I must say, like, it's actually uncommon because it's the first time that we're having such kind of people on the ballots. You know, in 2019, when we had the vice presidential debate, and a lot of people came up with this fact that when we had Pitobi and Yemi Osibanjo going against themselves, it was quite something that we were all interested in. It was educational. It was really, really expository. And people wondered, why is it that this kind of people would only make it to become vice president, right? Whereby the presidential candidates were even dodging to come on air to actually talk about the policies and what they were going to do. So coming to this time around where we are seeing that we have a presidential candidate who is very, very much abreast with everything that we actually talk about when we talk about real issues. And we also have a case of the vice presidential candidate, which you can see that well educated. It's not a case of missing certificates. It's not a case of somebody telling us they are not sure of their age. Everything is spot on. And this is what the Nigerian represents. We shouldn't be at this point in our generation where the world is it's like the world is flying in planes and we continue to ride on camel back. No, that's what we're saying no to this time around. We're saying we are bringing our best team forward. It's no longer time to play with our reserve legs. We are playing with our best team. And picking somebody who is much younger than Pitobi, he's 50 years old at the moment. He's got experience.
No, he's actually 40. He's actually 47, if that's correct. Though that means after if let's hypothetically speaking that Peter wins the election and governs for 8 years, that will mean that at that time he will be 50, 55, 56.
Yeah.
Still very young to take over.
So yeah, he's still within that range whereby you're saying that this is somebody who is competent. So to be honest with you, I feel like Pitobi, and that's one thing he's telling us his competence level. He's telling us he's ready to do the work. He's ready to go out there. And that's one thing I've always said. The PDP and the APC are just two lazy parties. They are not ready to do the work. This guy, we're seeing somebody who is ready to do the work. This guy, in the past, they told us that you cannot do canvassing without you having a private jet. Pitobi, when he was canvassing under the former party, actually went around in a normal flight around and canvassed the 36 states of Nigeria, even before most of them that had private jets were able to do that. So it just shows you somebody who is ready to get the job done. He is ready to answer the hard questions. He's ready to take on the difficult job. And he's shown us the first job he had to do, find a vice presidential candidate. And what has he done? He went digging through the rubbles. He did not just say, oh, I need to find somebody who is very popular and all that. He's gone out there to bring somebody. A lot of people are hearing about this guy for the first time. But one thing that strikes you immediately you hear about him is what? Competence, 100% competence. And that is what we're looking for. So I think it is a perfect pick. And all the way we are riding with Obi, it is all the way. It'll be Datti all over.
Thank you very much, Sheikh. Really, and a very good insight. But let me bring a veteran to this conversation, Akin Fohunda. I bring you here, and I want to start by saying, what's your view on the VP?
Well, it's a superlative choice. It's a superlative combination. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a first step. We are on the first step that is sure, that is certain, that is inspiring. Inspiring because we are used to having people who have not done anything with their lives over the years. People who are just politicians and they have no address. They have no track record of what they have done with their lives. For the first time, we have all known about Peter Obi, certainly, in the last couple of years. But the vice president candidate is also a known quantity. I reside at Abuja. I'm familiar with Base University, which is a product of the vice president's mind. You need to enter the university to appreciate that somebody who is a builder, somebody who has built something that you can see. When you build, you are showing yourself, you are showing your mind, You are showing who you are. So Yusuf Datti Ahmed is a builder, not just an academic textbook with chains of degrees. He has built an institution that will stand him. We need to recreate such kind of things. In short, I'm excited about the two of them. I'm excited because they don't need, they will need advice, no doubt, because one man cannot make a forest. But once you have done something before, when somebody comes with a little advice for you, somebody can give you a cock and bull story. Two of them, they probably have an idea of the price of cement, the price of iron rod, the price of a kilometer of road. Because they've bought these things in cash, not through contracts that is inflated. So they will know how to cut costs. They will see the picture of what Nigeria will look like. And then they're architects. And they have made money. It's not even for you to make money. You make money and you have plowed the money to a definite purpose that people around you are enjoying. There will be at least 2,000 persons working in Base University in Abuja. To pay salary from your sweat, from your brain, every month means you know the value of money. You're not just say how much is the balance, how much is security vote, how much is coming from crude oil, how much is the allocation.
Are you saying that others contesting under other political parties are not salary payers and
No, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Where is the factory of my countryman Tinubu? Where is his factory? Is he making bread, or does he have a university?
Tax collection is a factory. The toll gates, and
but it's not scientific. It's just like mining crude oil too. Crude oil is in the ground. You're just taking it out. You are not added value. It's not like Pitobi also has shown a track record of financial management, and then you do it with all 10 fingers. If you're a manager, you must have a saving culture. You don't just spend and spend and spend until you are bankrupt. So I think we have a good combination in this team. When I heard it, that it was Yusuf Datti Ahmed that is coming on, it's not just a balanced ticket. Oh, let's find somebody from the north. Let's find somebody from the northeast. This is somebody who can stand on his own track. Personally, I'm excited to work for this kind of team. And I hope they will take guidance. They are very good candidates. But I hope, maybe not let's say everything, but I must say that they need to be very careful. Nigeria is too large to be managed as a command and control center.
If you think you're
but let's just wait a little bit, and there are many issues to address. But no doubt at all, God has just given us an excellent platform. Let's ride on it.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that great insight. Now, let me quickly play us a video that surfaced yesterday. Now, this is Akim. Sorry, this is Baba-Ahmed here. And this video was taken a couple of years back. And sometimes there is no way you can get into the minds of people without really listening to whatever they espouse. And let's listen to what he said here and the questions that was asked.
Me to go and get an inflated contract or anything like that, forget it. If you're coming with me and you're going into mass housing, for example, and it's legitimate, it's your trade, you're known for that, I will go out of my way to come from London, to come and meet you here. Bring whoever you want, make sure that we get the benefit of your expertise back in Nigeria. And I can support what I've said. So one of the chromosomes, procurement, is faulted, and I've told you how to go about it. Two is nepotism and personal, group, and sectional interest in appointments. You get the wrong people into the wrong offices. You get the wrong people into the right offices. You get the right people into the wrong offices. Again, that's the DNA. It keeps going around. You can never be 100% correct. And I thank our sister for asking me about ladies and everything. And you can go through my business career, my political career, and see how careful I have been in selecting people that work with me, people that work for me. It's just take 5 minutes after this, open the website, see who the vice chancellor is, see who the deputy vice chancellor, see whoever there's nothing to hide.
Now, this is a conference where he was being asked this question that relates to how he runs his university, the base university. And also, he talked, with this interview also gave insight in his mind when as it concerns ethnic and religious sentiment. And clearly here, the way he was speaking, without knowing that in the future, in a couple of years, he will be in that position where it has to do with a nation. Now, let me quickly bring in someone joining us also. That is FCC Jones. FCC Jones, are you there? I think FCC Jones still has some. Let's try once more. FCC Jones, are you ready?
Thank you. But I will join with my earpiece very soon. I'm still outside.
No, but we can hear you loud and clear.
I'm listening in. Huh?
But we can hear you. Anyway, so we will bring FCC Jones back again. But, listening to this, I don't know if Saki Fada is there. Saki, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, if you don't mind, can you go on video, Saki?
I'm actually sick, sort of, but I'm still in bed.
Okay. Okay. So in that case, if you're not going to be participating, it's better you watch on YouTube.
All right. However it is, let me just go. But I'm just still on bed. Yeah.
So quickly, just make it snappy. What's your contribution?
Yeah. Very straight. I'm very, very happy to see that combination. This is in the history of Nigeria. This is the first time we are seeing two combinations born after independence trying to take over the country's affair. You talk about competence, they are there. You talk about articulation. The two of them, they are very articulated. You talk about prudence. You talk about corruption. They are free of that. Financial management, they are very, very good. So it is really a nice combination. I was quite happy when I heard the news. I am overjoyed. And I pray that other Nigerians should see this good thing that is trying to come on the way.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Saki there. Now, let me quickly get back to Sheikh Analo. Sheikh, if you're listening to that, what he said in that clip that we played, what does that tell you about his mind?
Well, for myself, he's not somebody that is a new name to myself over the years because I attended a private university, so I'm very familiar with the private university structures in Nigeria. And prior to this being nominated, I've always known about him because I also was born and brought up in Kaduna. So, but hearing him speak, it just resonates with his personality, excellence as a watchword, nothing more, nothing less. It's very, very intentional and deliberate acts to be able to achieve the best possible outcome. It is not a case of just trying to be better than your peers. It is excellence. That is the watchword here, and we can give it to him. And That is the good thing about this ticket, is the fact that we're having two people, and like people are saying on the timeline on various places, it's a time for Nigerians. It's a time for the true Nigerian spirit to come up. It is no longer Nigerians excel everywhere in the world. So we are known for excellence in the music industry, our food everywhere. And talk about our naturally find us anywhere we're excelling. So at what point, why do we continue to fail most in something that matters, which is the head of the arrow, which is governance? So at this point, the fact is what we're seeing here is excellence, and we are all encouraging every Nigerian out there to embrace it with both arms. Like, this is the best we have gotten in a long, long time.
Thank you very much. Then, Akim,
I
let me bring
have a
you in.
contribution. I have a
Yes,
contribution.
go ahead.
You see,
Go ahead.
what we don't know in this part of the world is that when you are running a business that you generated the money from your sweat, you want the best hands to run it. I also run a smaller business in Abuja. I have 76 staff that I pay every month. They have to generate the money for me to pay them. I can't put all people from Osun State in my business, because I'm collecting money from all Nigerians in my business. How can I collect money from all Nigerians and then put Osun people in all management? Everybody wants to see who he identified with in my business. You see, when you are running a business that is self-sustaining, you have no room for further character at all. No room for plugging people. I cannot just employ 3 people when I need only 1. How will I pay the other 2? It's not possible. So when Yusuf was talking about go to his website to see the kind of staff he has, the university has to run. You can't run it with all people from Katsina. You can't run it with all people from Zaria, where he's probably from. You get the best. And when you are in charge, you can travel. Look, I've been overseas in the last 3 months. I wasn't in Nigeria, I just came back. My business was running. I have no problem with it at all, because my staff know what they have to do. And they are doing it. That's the way to run a government. That's the way to run a state. That's the way to run a federal government. You pick the best. They have to pay their way. They have to be given duties. They have to perform. Then everybody is happy. But all the people we have, be article, they just living on patronage. Then you can employ 500 people. They are doing nothing. They come and kneel down with you every Sunday or every Friday if you're a Muslim. The world has gone beyond that. So I'm impressed by, as I said, I know about Base University. And the clip you showed validates my thinking that these are people who are used to managing men and materials. And they will not just change now to just plug the whole ministries with all kinds of people. I'm impressed and I'm optimistic.
Thank you very much. So let's quickly look at the Base University that you alluded to. And this is the Base University. Now, obviously, personally, I haven't been to this university, but there are some things that I've seen. When we go to the website, one thing that hits you first is, let's just quickly go back again. You see this picture. Is that actually the way the university looks?
It is. I've attended several conferences there. In fact, I was supposed to be a staff there, but I'm too old to be working now. But my colleagues, when I was teaching university, 4 of us went to Base University, and they are still teaching staff of computer science department in Base University.
So they've got Namadi Sambo, who is
no, these are board members.
Yes,
I'm talking of faculty staff.
And again, so but in line with what he said, it's about scrutiny here. Let's quickly look at the management staff. We have a Professor Tahir Maman, and we have David Obonna. Basically, this is a reflection of Nigeria and the best brain it can offer. James O'Neill. Then we'll look at the Senate. Okay. So these are men and women in line with that, what he said. We even have, you know, non-Nigerians actually who are working there. Is that a sign? Now, let me use the opportunity to bring on here. I think FCC Jones been, if you may quickly unmute yourself, FCC Jones, and then let's hear your opinion on these. Jones, are you there?
Yeah, I think.
Do you have?
Am I through?
Yes, you're here, unless you're having network challenges. Okay, go ahead.
I think my network is bad. Oh. So I think, like everyone else has said, we have a very wonderful team, and it's an unbeatable team if Nigerians were to consider their competence, look away from whatever they call structure, political structure and what have you, and political loyalties they have maintained over the years. So if they are to discountenance that, there is nobody who will not want and will be Datti to be the president and vice president of Nigeria. There is no way they are easy markets to sell. So, but be realistic. Are Nigerians ready for their type? So we have two major responsibilities: selling them and making Nigerians understand why they have to accept these very credible and competent individuals to be at the helm of affairs in Nigeria from 2023. Obi has met, I read somewhere a group saying that Obi couldn't have made a better pick of a vice presidential candidate. And that's undebatable. He has made the best pick he can ever make when it comes to. I do not think Datti Ahmed has any controversy, has any scandal associated with his name, even though he has been a member of the House of Representatives, he has been a senator. And I also think he has some strength in Kano for him to have been able to win the senatorial election on the platform of the CPC, if I am correct. That means he has some formidability, he has some very strong structure that he can fall back on in the north. So it's for us to do what we can to get this into reality, to make it a reality at the end of the day. It's a Herculean task, I must admit. We must not tell ourselves lies about this. It's very tough because of the kind of environment we are in. We have been following.
FCC John, if you consider the fact that these are highly cerebral individuals, that they are young, many of them that they are the best, that they fit the field.
I can't seriously hear you. Can you come again?
I think the speaker you're using, the headset you're using, there is a lot of fiddling. But anyway.
Yeah, but I heard you clearly now. I just got home. Sorry, so I'm trying to. I just had to.
Okay, hold on. Let's leave you to settle down. We'll bring you back in. Let's leave you to settle down. Let's get others in. I have Sydney Ibokwe here, Sydney, and I have Ken Oguze. Okay, Ken has left, but Sydney, in line with the conversation we are having, what's your take?
Good evening, Mazi. Yes, it's. I mean, this is brilliant, a masterstroke, especially from Pitobi. You know, we have been waiting. We know all the issues with NNPP, and suddenly, you know, I said that was a blessing in disguise because NNPP has a lot of baggages around it. But it was good that we now see him picking somebody that is very cerebral, smart, intelligent, young, So we basically, and that has been the mantra of the Obi movement, that we want to phase out some of these old politicians and create a new breed. And the good thing about his peak is that it is going to trouble the powers that be, because Datti Ahmed is part and parcel of the Northern Elders Forum. So I will call him a Northern Elders peak, because he's been picked from that block. And the truth is that no matter what anybody says, the Northern Elders hold massive sway in the North. They are the elite of the North, and they have a lot of base. For him to defeat McAfee in Kano to be a senator was not easy. And if you look at the trend of Datti Ahmed, he's somebody. If you look at the statement when he was actually running for presidential elections, he ran for presidency in the second term against Buhari. And if you look at a lot of his policies and a lot of things he was saying 3 years ago, he predicted everything to the T. What he was saying 3 years ago is what we're experiencing now. So that means he's very cerebral. So it's a good pick, and we'll mobilize around them. And because I think there's a lot of synergy between him and Pitobi. You can see that there's a synergy between him and Pitobi, and all Pitobi needs, this is a number game. All Pitobi needs is an inroad into the Northwest. He has got it. So I believe he has three zones that are locked in for now. So his pathway to presidency is pretty much open. And now it's a race to the finish. We're just waiting for them to set it up and let's start running, because his team is set to go. There's no baggages around. So because his senior brother is actually Hakim Baba-Ahmed. That's his senior brother. And if you know the antecedents of Hakim Baba-Ahmed, they are talking to the North. They know the North. They know how to talk to the North. So, I mean, pretty much it's left for Tinubu to blink. So we are blinked first. Let Tinubu blink. Let's see what he wants to do. Atiku is already having deep problems in PDP. PDP is having this. So basically, Tinubu is has been pushed to the corner. So what will Tinubu do? He has only two options. Either he goes with Gandola or he goes with El-Rufai, and none of them is a good pick.
Well,
So
but that's, if he does that, that will mean that he will end up having a Muslim ticket, which many Northerners will also feel alienated. But that's that's
their own problem.
Yes. So let's bring in Ken Oguze here. Ken, are you there? You're on mute, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Ken. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Mazi. And of course, I applaud you for everything you do. I think most of the speakers have said it all. I think it's really refreshing, listening to when this whole, the VP nomination came up, and, it's very different. It's very different. I think I love the strategic move this is. You're looking at two individuals whom I think, like someone mentioned earlier, they don't have baggages in terms of, things that could, come up as distractions while we're going through the whole campaign trail, whereby people start pointing fingers that you did this, you did this. We have two individuals who don't have these baggages. But then we have two individuals who have at one point or the other been in government. And most of the time, you would have individuals who will tell you things like, oh, you don't have experience, or this person doesn't have experience. The VP is experienced. The presidential candidate is experienced. And I think that is very, very important, because you do not go into government without getting stained. But these individuals have exemplified the fact that you could go into government, gain experience, understand the workings without getting stained, and then you can aspire for greater things. So I think looking at what we have with the choice of VP, like everyone has mentioned, the relationship with, Gusau and, the elder brother. All of these individuals are influential individuals whom their backing is really important, especially to make inroads within the northern part of Nigeria. It doesn't get any better than this. I was looking at the posters and I'm like, this is the first time you could actually look at a poster for presidency in Nigeria in a long time, and you feel like there's some hope. You feel like you can share this with your friends or people who are not Nigerians living in diaspora, and they could be like, wow, this looks great. Because if you look at what we've had in the last 16 years, these are individuals. All they needed to do was to do a random Google search on these individuals, and then they come back to you with questions and saying, oh, this person is running for presidency. I read about all these issues. But you have two individuals who are running for president and vice president. You do not have to deal with that. So from our own standpoint, the work starts from today. I mean, we've been doing all the work, but the second level starts from today. We know the APC and the PDP, this has really shook, this has shaken them, because I don't think a lot of people expected to see this. The strategy is becoming clearer to everyone. You see the youthful engagement coming to light. Every youth can look at these two candidates and feel like, I see myself in these two candidates. I feel like these are two individuals that can drive the hope and that sort of sense of belonging which the youth has not gotten in Nigeria in probably more than 2 decades. So just to round it off, I just put it out to every one of us here. Please, 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 we do have a Herculean task. Like they always say, real power, true power can never be served a la carte. We all have to double or triple whatever effort we have. Having the best candidate is one thing, but then we have to project it. We have to use every resource that is available to us to really bring our dreams to fruition. Come next year, 2023, we would have His Excellency Pitobi and the VP as people leading our country and taking us to that height which we truly deserve to be. Thank you, Mazi.
Now, before let me quickly, let me bring you back here. And there is this, I've read people questioning, he's young, he's smart, very smart, if I must add. However, then there are some people today on Twitter raising concerns as to how did he get the money to build the base university if he's that young? Can you basically alluded to it, Ken, that he's clean and that he is young? Can you give us any insight to that?
Well, can I? Whom do you call?
Yeah, Ken, go ahead.
Okay, I'll just say some few words and then I can allow. I'm not sure if it's Sydney who wanted to talk, but anyways, so and this is based on doing my personal research. An average Nigerian politician, we all know, all you need to do is just go do some research and you see 20, 25 things pop up about one scandal or the other they've been involved in. I don't really know the inner workings of everybody's personal business. But one thing I know for sure is that most of my research I've done around this gentleman so far, what I see seems to pop up almost everywhere is the word anti-corruption. That seems to be his strongest, that is actually the strongest character he exhibits. And I think that's very, very important in this campaign, because we know that everything we are fighting today in Nigeria still comes back to corruption. When you go back, watch videos about him, you Google stuff, even when they were talking about the fact that how he is relatable to the masses in the North, it is because they said he speaks the language of let's stop wasting things and let's find a way to have a corruption-free society. That is a strong selling point. And I think it's not impossible to be 46 years old and make money to build, invest in Nigeria. I don't think that's impossible. There are so many people who in Nigeria who are 35, 38 running unicorn businesses in the tech sector. So it's not ridiculous. Nigeria is a home of opportunities. If we had the right leadership, we'll probably have tons of multi-millionaires in dollars doing big people who are less than 35 years old. So I think over time, when we've been so bastardized into thinking that, you cannot make it in Nigeria without having to do all the dirty things because of the way the society has been projected, it makes us question the wealth of everyone. But without taking too much time, I truly believe that this is the best choice. I truly believe that it doesn't get better than this. I truly believe that God had a way of removing this whole Kwakwanso drama, because that individual probably could have haunted us somewhere along the line in this campaign. So I'm grateful, I'm happy for this, and I really hope that we all come together and do what we need to do.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
On the university cost,
okay.
The university is at least 10 years old. I can't remember the exact year.
So if the university is 10 years old, that means he built it when he was 36.
The point is that when you are a builder, especially in the school, you build the first block or second block, and it's work in progress. If you go there now, it's not as if you built everything today and it's in place. If you're a good manager, educational institution is the best to build. I must say for a fact that the fees of base university has not been affordable for many years, but it is cost recovery, self-sustaining business. If you go there now, don't just think he did it last year or 2 years ago. He started at the small mustard seed, and he has managed the school fees coming in over the last 10 years. We must give him credit for that one. And to be, let's even be vulgar. If somebody even stole money, but he has turned the money over 20 times and he has added value, somebody just put money in the septic tank and just put his leg on it. So I don't say anybody could query the fact that he has started the institution for almost 10 years and it's now a very viable business. Well, it's a credit as far as I'm concerned.
On a lighter note, there is this notion online that those who are criticizing the movement, or what they call the obedient movement, are those who he actually gave certificates. What do you have to say on that?
You mean he gave certificates recently to?
Well, we know Dino Melaye, Deji Adeyanju.
Well, I must say, I can't relate so the details, whether they stayed 18 months to get a degree. I know there's online modality of getting degrees now worldwide. And there is a mature, I have friends now who is almost 70 doing law, University of Abuja. And will you say they will not graduate with law? Many people are asleep, they are doing nothing. And then their Zoom others are also asleep too. So I wouldn't query it. I don't think with the caliber of people you have in the university there are people that I know almost one-to-one. The Senate there is not just a rubber stamp Senate that will just give paper to anybody. I don't even think the pro-chancellor has that control to just say, oh, give my dog a certificate, give my cat certificate. Let people go to the website and see the quality of the staff, the quality of the Senate that is there. Only God is perfect, but I will not attribute any bad conduct to that team I'm seeing on the website.
Fair point. Let's bring FCC Jones. FCC Jones, are you able to make your contribution now, because you're obviously here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let me start from and a very important question was raised about some people asking questions about how the vice president, our vice presidential candidate, made money to build a university of the standard as he owns. That's a very important question. As an in-house meeting, we shouldn't struggle to give explanations to that. If we do not have all the answers, we should make efforts to find out, so that when we go out to the public, we'll be able to give very convincing argument over that. I think universities, every university senate has its own standards, has its own curriculum. As long as the lawyers produced by Base University are accepted at the Nigerian Law School, that should be a good evidence. That should be strong evidence enough to show that they meet the standard set by the Nigerian, the legal council, or whatever they call it, the licensing authority for that profession. But in the area of history of wealth, it is important that we find out and be able to give that story out. There's something I learned from the Obama-Barack campaign. Obama-Barack was the one putting out his campaign strategically, put out those things that he felt his opponents were going to use against him. Yeah, he did cannabis. He found a way of taking it out through his campaign, explaining. He told the story of how he did cannabis. He even wrote a book on it. So you don't use it against him. He ambushed his rival, his opponents effectively. His name, Hussein, at the time the Republicans wanted to use it against him, before they could prop it up, he had already put it out there that he is Hussein. His father is from Kenya. He only made these are stories people would naturally had wanted to use against him. But he put it out there before them. He ambushed them. So some of these things, if we think that there are some questions that there is no public figure who doesn't have questions to answer about his personality, about even his private life. So we should be able to ambush our opponents, the opposition, by taking these things out and explaining them, telling the real stories behind some of these things before they are they become the ones to throw them out there. I think Datti Ahmed is not does not have a very dirty background, just like the presidential candidate, Mr. Pitobi. They are wonderful candidates to serve, not because they are perfect, not because they are without any dent. But if there are dents in their characters and their public image, they are very infinitesimal when compared to those of their opponents. So we should be proud of what we are selling. The only snag here is because we are Nigerians, is because they are running to be president and vice president in a country like Nigeria. Ordinarily, if they were running in countries where some of these ferocious sentiments don't come in, the other political parties should by now begin to think of withdrawing their candidates and fielding better candidates who can stand any chance with these individuals. That's the truth of the matter. I'm not saying this because I support them. I do not see a Tinubu standing or coming out in a debate with a Pitobi. I do not see an Okowa, who is relatively young by our understanding of youthfulness in this part of the world, but can't find his academic certificates. That's because he has lots of things to hide. I can't see Ibrahim Masari, who as at now is the vice presidential candidate to Tinubu, coming out to stand shoulder to shoulder with Datti Yusuf. I do not see Atiku Abubakar being able to come up with anything tangible, anything that can seriously sell him to Nigerians when there is a Pitobi standing beside or standing in the same election with him. So we need serious orientation long before. I think we are doing well already. We are doing well already. We are doing a lot already. We are running campaigns even before the campaign is effectively started, or the ban on campaign is lifted. But we need to do a lot more. We need to go beyond campaigning for votes to educating the minds of the ordinary Nigerian. I'm a farmer. If you watch very well, I look stressed. I'm just coming out from my farm. I make sure my farm attendants have their PVCs. 90% of my staff are househouse and baggies. But I try to make them understand. Just a few hours ago, I had a conversation with one of the chiefs in the village where I have my farm. He was telling me, well, that Pitobi is a good man, Pitobi is wonderful, but he can't win. I said, give him your vote, let him not win, you would have satisfied your conscience. Said he would rather vote for either Atiku or Tinubu who will win. I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if Pitobi is from the south. It doesn't even matter if he will win or not. Satisfy your conscience. Show that these people have they have sort of given us a chance. This is an opportunity for Nigerians to actually choose life. It's just like they say in the Bible, I have given you an option between life and death. Choose life that you may live. If Nigerians truly want a better country, if Nigerians truly want a more secured country, these two individuals have gone out of their ways to come out for this election. They have, I didn't know, I thought we were going to have a normal kind of Nigerian politician as his roommate. But having gone this far to find someone who qualifies as a technocrat, I think Nigerians, it is left for Nigerians to now decide, well, that they don't want progress for themselves. If they decide that, then some of us may as well begin to pack our loads to run away, like people like Daniel Elumba and other people who have run away from the country and leave the country to go however it wants. These individuals have what it takes. They may not be perfect, but they have, for someone at more than less than 50 years to have built a university such you showed on this screen, even if it is family wealth, even if it is money he made from politics. There are others who have been governors. There are others who have been senators. There are others who have been exposed to much more wealth than himself. It shows that he's a responsible person. If his family is so wealthy, yet he got this money and invested it rightly, invested it in things we are seeing. He has been able to develop himself. We have a president who was president the first time before he was 40, about that age, without a certificate. And he was out of power for about 30 years. Within that 30 years, he couldn't go back to school. Within that 30 years, he couldn't make efforts to develop himself, to build himself, to make himself a better person. And he came back and became president, and Nigerians were expecting some kind of magic. That doesn't happen. You have someone who prides in poverty. He said he had 150 cows, and he had 150 cows from 2003 till even now. And the people voted for him, and people are supporting him. We have people, so we have a Kwankwanso somewhere who came out on live television and said that he is unemployed, that he is jobless, that becoming a vice president will be a wonderful job to him. And we have two people who are billionaires as private individuals whose businesses are visible. We have a lot of Nigerian politicians, a lot of Nigerian multi-billionaires whom we do not know what they do. What we see is that they have properties here and there. They have they have estates. They have this. What do they do to fund this? How did they get this money to build these estates? Because for people who live in the Western world, you find out that yes, you're a real estate operator. You're a real estate mogul, like Trump, for instance. But there are other businesses in the hospitality industry, for instance, in the showbiz that funds this real estate, because real estate money is not a daily money, so to say. For you to maintain that standard as a billionaire, as a comfortable billionaire, you need something that generates money almost every day. You have these individuals. You have Pitobi, who owns supermarkets, owns big businesses that generate money every day. We know somebody like the vice presidential candidate Datti. He owns a best university. He owns other investments. If the question is about how he made the money, yes, we need to find out how he got the capital to set these things up. But setting these things up on their own, on its own, is a credit to him. Because there are lots of people, I know past governors, people who haven't been governors, who were governors about 8 years ago, who are broke. When I mean broke, who are properly broke, who go to the current governors, who go to their politician friends who are in office to collect money for their hospital bills. I know them personally.
May I interject at this moment? If we're looking at the screen, sorry, FCC John, and what you are looking at here is actually the area view of that university that you're talking about. And, and I ask myself, this is what an individual or a family has been able to build in Nigeria, not outside Nigeria. Yet, most of the states that we have in Nigeria, even the federal government, cannot boast of having something similar or even better than what an individual can do here. This is mind-blowing. This is even bigger than some of the airports that we have.
And Mazi,
definitely well planned.
Everything is
very well planned. It shows it has trust. If this kind of person is president and he's vice president and he's given the opportunity, he's given an assignment to build a university, for instance, for us, for Nigerians, we can at least say for him to have done this for himself, he should be able to do something wonderful for Nigerians. And then a former governor, for instance, who destroyed the state he governed for 8 years. And you can't blame him, because if you go to his private properties, you can be in his house. If it is raining, the roof will be leaking water. That's who he is. So when our presidential candidate Pitobi said sometime that lunatics have taken over government, I was not very happy when Valentine Obianem tried to.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, I was not very happy when Valentine Obianem tried to refute that. Even though I understand that there is a kind of image they want to cut for the presidential candidate, they want to make him a very appreciable man, a very good man, but sometimes what he is leading is a revolution. People like us got into it because we are attracted to revolutionary acts, because we do not believe that things should continue the same way. And if you are leading a revolution, there must be some aspects of madness in you. You must be able to say things that the way they are. But we cannot continue. There are many lunatics. There are people who shouldn't manage, whom I cannot give charge to manage my piggery, who are running states in this country, who are ministers, who are presidents, who are senators, who are. One of the greatest evidence that we have mad people running the show in Nigeria is the Electoral Act. That Electoral Act that was signed into law is very wonderful. But you find out that a lot of these legislators do not know what they signed. They do not know what they put their signatures to.
So if they don't know,
I worked in the Senate. I know how these bills come about. Most times what they see is that small paper they give them to present on the floor of the Senate, or on the floor of the House of Representatives. They have aides who come to them, if you sponsor this bill, you go good though. They pay them money. They go home, most times copy and paste from the computer, put it to them. They don't study it. Most of them do not study these things. That is why we have National Assembly members falling foul of the same Electoral Act they said they passed into law. Many of them do not know what they passed into law. Most of them do not know what they debated on. So you find out
that's why they didn't even know when they excluded themselves. Sorry.
That is it. Nigeria survives. I say it all the time when I'm with my friends. I say that Nigeria survived under President Buhari means that Nigeria can effectively run without a president, without a political leadership. Because there is no political leadership in the country as we speak. I'm an APC member, yeah. I was an official of the party till recently. But that's the truth. We know this truth. Even when I was working with them, I say these things all the time to them, in-house. We don't have a president. We don't have a political leadership. Look.
FCC Jones, you alluded to a governor who ran down a stage for 8 years. Everywhere is leaking.
That is it. Yes, of course.
It reminds me.
Somebody was governor for 8 years.
It reminds me
when people blame him.
It reminds me of the argument you and I normally have then, if you may still remember, when at certain stands
definitely
defending them. But again, here you are. Eventually, you are the biblical son who has come home, realizing that.
There is something people do not understand about FCC Jones. If you ask Rochas Okorocha today, he will tell you that I was his biggest critic while I worked with him.
Okay, so
there is a difference. Like I just said here, we need to find out things about Datti Ahmed and be the ones to say so that we can defend. If there are things that are wrong with him, we can't say it in public. There is nobody, there is no politician. You and I know you are not perfect. I'm not perfect. But what makes us different is if we are together, we try to tell you those things in-house and come to the public to try to explain them out. A public, a reputation manager is like a lawyer. Now, do you know that your client is a thief? Wouldn't make you not to accept to defend him in court. It's as simple as that. It's just that down here, we like to pretend about it. But In all democracies, there are people who do that. But the thing is that how many people do we have here whom you can actually decide to work for without nothing for yourself? Maybe you can say now Pitobi, for instance, but every other person, we have lunatics, we have mad people. People who don't even know how to save themselves. You know, we have politicians who don't know how to save themselves. Talk less of saving the country.
Thank you very much, FCC Jones. You know, if I let you go on, you know, it's going to be unending. But let me, you know, let more people come into the studio. This is live and this is streaming on the Njenje TV. I am Mazezek, and here in the studio I have FCC Jones, and I have Sheikh Analo, Sydney Bukwe, Ken Gozier, and we had Akin Fapohunda, but I think Akin Fapohunda, oh, he's back. Akin Fapohunda is back. Now, let me take us to the next.
What's the question?
Sorry. No.
What's the question for me?
Yeah, I'm getting the next question here. Now, Akin, you are aware that, you know, okay, bearing in mind that the comments of Senator Kwankwaso and Buba Galadima and the fraud who feigned that he had spinal cord injuries, but came on TV to spew so much of those things that he said. Now, bearing in mind that you know, discussion eventually didn't go as planned, do you, looking back now, do you feel happy that that's, you know, major conversation with the Labour Party fell apart?
Well, we are now up today. About 2 months ago, we were thinking, you know, until you taste the pudding, you don't know how sweet. We are used to Kwankwaso with his red car people mobilizing Kano, that he has followers. We used to think that he's coming in the mode of Aminu Kano those days and Balere Musa, that it will be a populist platform to energize the youth that are coming with Peter Obi. But I would say God works in material ways. It's better that we peel the onion to see the inside. It could have been very disastrous to her. It's like sleeping with snake under your bed. And it's gladdening that the snake was revealed on time. Because somebody who has that kind of mindset, the mindset of the so-called Talakawa, you must sit on the floor while they sit on the throne. And then the job subservient, God put me in this seat while God put you on the ground. That's the mentality that has not done the North very good. And it would have been very sad for him to come up with that kind of mentality. It could have been boxing every day. It could have been article Obasanjo problem if we come in. But we thank God that it is revealed. In effect, Kwankwaso is a lightweight. In fact, it's a no weight at all. The way things are now is comparing now light with darkness. If you want somebody from the North, somebody who has confidence, somebody who really wants, I mean, as I keep saying, you just have to go to the university campus to praise the mind that produced that campus. The mind must be working, overdrive to produce such an environment. So it's good we don't have professional politicians, people who just preach hatred, preach Quran, preach Bible, preach all kinds of things. They are not even religious. What does Kwankwaso do? It's been every minister of defense, it's been this, it's been that. He has not built an hospital to his own name. So I would think it's good riddance to bad rubbish that didn't come. I'm glad that we are on today's date now, 8th of July, 2022. This will be the date we are taking the first step to the redemption of Nigeria, in my own mind. It's good that Kwankwaso fell by the wayside.
Thank you very much. Now, let me, I think we have Roland Tagoba. Roland, do you agree with what Akim said? Roland, are you there? Roland?
Hi, Mazi. Thank you for... Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but
Hello?
Nigeria is happening to you. Nigeria is
Yes,
happening to
I
your
can hear
connection.
you, and my mic is on.
Okay.
Can
So
you
we can
hear
hear
me?
you now. Go ahead. Yes, we can hear you now.
Hello, Mazi? No?
Yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you, Roland.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, Roland. We can hear you.
Yes, no, Nigeria is happening to me. I'm calling in from Abuja and have a very poor network. Yes, I'm sorry. My connection is not very good. Oh, can you? Yes, yeah. Thank you. Yes, I'm on the call from Abuja, and yes, Nigeria is happening to me. You've seen the issues around the connections, but in general, yes, it's all interlinked. Poor governance equals poor infrastructure, equals poor economy, equals the insecurity that's pervading. We're all scared. Everybody's indoors, really. We can't live. Nigeria is a mess. So, yes, I listened to Dapo's analysis, and I think I'm inclined to agree with it. Kwankwaso's strength is in Kano, and it is strength. You can't deny him that. But nationally, we're talking national politics now. And yes, Kano does have a significant population or voter strength, but it can't determine everything. You need Kano, you need Rivers, you need Lagos. Three key states you need to win an election in Nigeria. With or without him, I think it will be that he can do something. With the way things stand anyway, the way things stand right now, and anyway, Kano is likely to be a three-way split between Obi, Atiku, and Tinubu. So it may lose its potency in terms of the overall numbers. Rivers is dicey because we don't know where Wike stands right now. There's a fear that he may fall to the APC. So it'll be bad news for any of the other contestants. But yes, maybe I can shut up now. Otherwise, I'll keep going.
Thank you very much. If you can hear me, let me ask you a question, slightly unrelated here, but now that I have you on the podium, understanding where you're coming from, pardon me to ask you this question. You know, you are a world-class and international rail expert. Obviously, you are in Abuja. Many people are still not aware if the Kaduna-Abuja railway has resumed. And if it hasn't,
carry on.
When do you,
even though you're
when do you think that will resume? When do you think that will resume? Did you hear me?
Those are your words.
Those are my words, yes. But what's your take?
Oh dear.
Well,
I lost part of that. I got some bit of it, but not all of it. Can you say it again?
Okay, what I meant was, you know, obviously it's
slightly... I missed your question.
Okay, I'm coming back with the question. Can you hear me now?
Hello, Mazi?
I can't hear you.
This is Nigeria phenomenon.
Okay, let's thank you very much, Roland, for joining us. Let me quickly we can't take that much more. Then let me take the opinion of others on this. Let me take we've got someone join us now, Patrick Vyshonsky. Patrick, are you there?
Yes,
Patrick, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So, Patrick, what's your take on the VP choice to Pitobi?
Before this buzz about picking up VC, vice president, I didn't know much about Datti Ahmed, to be honest with you. But when buzz started, and I went into his profile and I started checking his previous, because I didn't care much about the current one. I went to pass to his previous statements, public statements. I was just even making a joke, just like it looks like our principal just went in there and make a photocopy of himself, practically like cloned himself, because it's just a perfect choice. I just finished that discussion like 30 minutes ago that to God be the glory that things didn't work out well in the previous arrangement, that this was divinely orchestrated, and I am 100% happy about it.
Thank you very much. Now, let me get back to let me get back to Sydney, and afterwards I'll take Shaik. Sydney, can you kindly unmute, please?
Yeah.
I bring the same question that I asked Dr. Akim Fapohunda. I say to you, what is your take? Are you happy that the conversation between NMPP and Labour Party broke down?
Yes, I'm very, very, I think it's a blessing in disguise because number one, we wanted Kwankwaso because he has his movement, he has his numbers in Kanu and could open up those corridors. However, I had real concerns. My real concerns is Kwankwaso is part and parcel of establishment. Kwankwaso is part and parcel. He's been into every part of the government, and for me, he's an opportunistic politician. However, there are things that, okay, in terms of education, he could help, but I had a big problem in terms of will he be ready to go down as vice president and work with a younger president. And I knew that if he's able to do that, then he must have agreed. So the good thing is that he showed his hand and he shot himself in the foot. When they went for their media blitz from himself, Galadima, and the other guy from the senator from Kano, this House of Representative from Kano, who was also Munumi, at least Mumuni Adam or something. So those three guys went on a media blitz, and a lot of things they were saying were very, very could create insightfulness, but they thought they were doing it against the Obi candidacy. But I saw that they have missed the boat. They don't understand what the nation is talking about. They don't understand that we have moved beyond this primordial sentiment. And so they thought that by presenting that face, it could give them favor in the north. They can hold on to the north. But unfortunately, this has actually been a dent to his candidacy. His candidacy was...
Will it then be fair to say that after that outing, that Kwankwaso is obviously not to be reckoned with nationally because of that outing?
Yes. He has been politically damaged. Sometimes you make a move and you think that it's supposed to enhance us, but what has happened is that his traction has ceased. His traction has ceased, and he has been politically damaged because now he's going to be viewed as just a sectional kind of leader that is just within the Kano axis. And that is really terrible. He's not even in the northeast. The northeast that could have tilted a bit, will stay firmly where they are. He's not in the North Central. So basically, he has become a sectional leader. And Nigeria doesn't need another sectional leader. Nigeria needs a national figure. And I tell you, Kwakwanso cannot even defeat Atiku as it stands now because he has been seriously damaged by that media blitz. And I think it will be one of the things we will put in our history books in terms of political history. When you begin to make a move, you think politically. And for a politician like himself, I think he was blinded by, I would say, his ego, and he made a lot of fundamental political errors in his calculation. And now it's very difficult because he has to pick a vice president, and I can tell you, it's not going to be anything to write home about. So he has fallen off the pecking order. So it's a three-horse race now. It's a clear three-horse race. It's going to be Labour Party, it's going to be Tinubu, and it's going to be Atiku. So
okay,
that
thank you very much.
Mm.
Now, I think Akim, if you cannot hear me, you may have to log out and come back in because obviously everyone can hear me, and I can see that you're complaining that you can't hear me. It might have to do with your connection. Now, let me also bring another question that people are asking online. They say that we are talking about, obviously, the reason why the university is being highlighted is because this is the topic of discussion. But equally, let's bring it say here. Many people are saying that if is university a big deal, that Atiku, by the way, also has a university. I don't know, Akin, are you there? If you can hear me as an academician, so are you able to say anything on that? People are saying, what's the big deal with the university if Atiku himself also has a university? Akim, can you hear me? Okay, Akim, you may have to, go out and come in, and let me bring Ken. Ken, are you there? Sorry, Ken, before you, Sheikh Analo, are you there? Okay, Sheikh, kindly unmute, please. So, Sheikh, there is this question, from online, people saying that what's the fuss about the university, the base university, if Atiku also has a university in Adamawa?
Well, to Phoenix, when we are highlighting the university, the fact that this man owns a university, it's not just because of we're saying this is the only thing he has done. It's just when you say show working, like back in the days, if you do your maths equations in school, then they'll tell you it's not just to give us an answer, but you should be able to show working so that the person who is marking you can be able to understand your pathway to the answer and actually see that you understand it. So the ability of him to organize a university is just showing us in one light that this man has a level of foresight. He has a level of competence. The university kind of helps us snowball into his own life that tells us understand that beyond this fact, this guy is detribalized. These are the key issues that are bothering Nigeria at the moment, and that's why these issues are being highlighted. We're not saying it is not only that he has done; he's shown excellence in so many ways, but this is one obvious receipt that we can all see. So when we try to compare, yes, fine and good. That is one minus. Okay, let us assume. So you have 10 points to go. There are still other things. So we've said, okay, this man has a university. Yes, Atiku has a university. Good. Yes, let's cancel that out. What about Tinubu? Does he have anything to contribute to our economy? What has he done? Where are we going to say he's contributing for? We still question his wealth, source of wealth. We're questioning everything. So I think that's the key things. We, like Pitobi said, go and verify. We want verifiable things. That's what we're looking at for. Tinubu till today, we don't know anything. It is everything is questioned. Everything is mystical. How old are you? It's a big. How possible can we be questioning how old somebody is that wants to run for? That's the simplest question because you say your date of birth almost everywhere. That's a means of identity to almost everybody. This is the day I was born. So if your date of birth is questionable, your source of wealth is questionable, your certificate is questionable, the schools you attended is questionable, please, maybe we might as well start questioning whether this guy is actually alive. These are things that we need to start looking at. So it's not just people saying, oh, this guy has done this and this guy has not done that. There's so many things that parameters, but we're saying bring all the parameters forward. the good thing is, if you go to my Twitter, I always say, this is no longer time for Agbado and Pomo politics. This is not that time where people give you corn and plate hair and fry akara. We're raising the bar to an excellent standard. It's not before. Before, what you would be seeing all over the place at this moment is what we're going to. So that is what we're happy about. Let it be issue based. Ask us, yeah, does Atiku have a university? Fine. Let us go and look at the university. Let us compare both. Let us compare the running patterns and say, how can these people improve our education? That is the kind of conversation we want. And that's where we are saying, on the obedience team, we are all saying what? Bring the conversation higher. Let us raise the bar, not go and talk about people like what people have not said before. It is an issue-based conversation: education, healthcare, wealth creation, poverty reduction, power generation. This is what the conversation is about. It's not Agbado or more politics anymore. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I like that analogy, Agbado and Pomo. And I must also, permit me to also add cassava and corn. That's a complete meal. It means we can eat one in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night. Then we're good to go. Now, let me quickly, before we start winding up here, unless if Akin is, Akin, are you able to hear me now that you come back?
I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Now, I wanted you to speak to it as a public intellectual and also as someone, who, as an academic here. Now, it's, people online, we are saying that why are we only discussing the Bayes University? Why don't we look into the article on university, the American University in Yola? So what's your take on that? Is there any basis of comparison?
There's no base for comparison. It's in public record that article just paid the American university. It's just a clone of a university in the United States. It's like you just give contract out. Anybody can give contract out. It's a different thing when you put your personality online. And then let's compare the two candidates. Senator Datti Ahmed has been the Senate, a public figure. But Atiku was in the customs. Apart from that, he has Intel company that was a services company. And then he has a shipping line. Most of these things have question mark on them. And he have been given the chance at the highest level to be impactful in Nigeria. He was the chief architect of the privatization. He's the one that under his watch, the discos and the gencos were all sold out. They were given irrevocable contracts, and it's not successful. It's under his watch that aluminum smelting plant in Ikot Embassy was concessioned out. It closed down. Under his watch, Ajaokuta steel plant was concessioned out. It closed down. It's not working. So he had been tested as a public figure. All he has touched have turned to dust. So he be given the chance, and he has not impacted. And even the way he's living now, he's living in Dubai all the time. In between elections, he just comes in for election. Once he loses, he goes back to Dubai. As we are talking now, he's in Dubai. So, and then we can't go back to what is not good. Yusuf Datti Ahmed is a fresh face that needs to be given a chance to prove himself. Apart from the stint in the Senate, he has not been given executive position to be impactful on the lives of Nigerians. So Yusuf is at the beginning of his own career, public career, as far as we are concerned. Whereas Atiku is already at the end. It will be very foolish for us to go somebody who's already tried and tired and exhausted, with somebody who is 46 years of age, with all energy to drive this system in a different way. So it's good to have, there are many people who have universities now. University is not just a criteria, but he bought his own. He just bought it as a contract, like to buy a jet. I don't think he knows too much about the university, to be honest.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Now, we will be winding up, and before we do, may I take the last bit of the question, which will be, we'll go around on this. And the question will go this way. What do we expect from these two gentlemen, and what would you, or what will you advise them to do in the next couple of hours, in the incoming weeks and months before the election? Let me start with Roland Ataguba on this. Roland, if you can hear me, I want to start with you on this. That is what we call free consultancy. I know many of you.
Thank you, Mazi.
So give them free consultancy.
I'm not sure. I think they stand a very good chance of succeeding at the polls. I think their chances just seem to get better and better by the day. And I would disagree with, I think, the last analysis regarding Atiku. I think there were 3 of those points. I think on the privatization, all of those he had been effectively out of the MCP. It was Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala that did all of those as deputy chair of National Council of Privatization. The Ajaokuta, the smelting plant, and which other one? Genco's was done by good luck. It wasn't even done during Obasanjo's time. Anyway, I digress. What can these guys expect? I know that he's my very good friend. I know him, and I can tell you everything you've heard about him is true. Plus more. Fresh. These guys can change Nigeria, but it wouldn't come easy. If they win, they would have a big fight on their hands, because Nigeria is the way it is today because there are people who benefit from it being the way it is, and they are not going to go away without a fight. So they can expect that. They can expect the civil service to be resistant to reform. They can expect the political classes to resist reform, because Nigeria is a gravy train. They've been milking it for years, and they just want it to stay as it is so they can continue to ride that. And what I think is their other weakness, and this is something that has been talked about in many instances, is this lack of what they've called infrastructure. And I think it will become an issue for them when they get into office and find that the entire National Assembly is is full of the guys from the opposition parties, and they'd have to find a compromise to work with those guys who would probably be looking.
Well, but those are the National Assembly haven't actually won the election. Are you discountenancing Labour Party that they wouldn't win the any of those seats? If really revolution happens before then, don't you say that many, from the Labour Party might actually win the seat?
Has historically. Sorry, did you say something, sir?
Okay, just go ahead then. If you didn't catch, go ahead.
So yes, I was just, in fact, I was just winding up and saying that well, I can only wish them well. Look, I think that they're good for Nigeria. I think that Nigeria needs this, call it distraction, because it was going to be a very boring election Tinubu versus Atiku. I mean, what new thing are they going to tell us that we don't know already or that we haven't seen? So I think the Pitobi challenge is a very good one.
Okay, thank you very much, Roland. And obviously, you do have a right of reply. Akin, if there is any clarification you may want.
No, I concede some spillovers from the Obasanjo administration, but it must be considered that the foundation for privatization was laid under Atiku. All the frameworks himself and the El-Rufai, they prepared the blueprint. They already listed those to be privatized. Agreed, the actual handout of sale were done after they have left. But they prepared foundation.
Oga, it is El-Rufai that did private.
Well, Atiku was the chairperson. In fact, it started with
Oga, it's El-Rufai that did privatization. And El-Rufai, if you know the way government operated under Obasanjo, El-Rufai dealt directly with Obasanjo. Chairman of NCP was a figurehead. I don't think you can tar Atiku with those words. There's so many other things you can hit him with, you know. And I think it is part of the problem we have during campaigns, where we're so trying hard to put the other guy down that all's fair, all appears to be fair, whether it's fact or fiction. We just roll it all together and dump it, and that's the biggest way to discredit your argument when you start to introduce incorrectness or incorrectitude into it. We've got enough facts to demolish the guy, so you don't need embellishments. You know,
Roland, if I may come in here, I think it's actually, you know, the argument to me is 6.5 and half a dozen. Your argument is that El-Rufai, you know, went straight to the president. Akim's argument is that, well, the vice president then was the head of the economy. You know, he managed the economy and managed those teams. You know, because if you watch him sometimes, he actually took credit. He said he was the one that assembled.
Well, they always, of course, they take credit for all that's good.
Exactly. So if he takes credit,
they'll take the credit. But the reality is privatization had a director general, and a very aggressive one, and a very well-known one. El-Rufai did privatization. You know.
No, but Atiku was
I think he was chairman of the Council of Private. Well, fine, carry on. So blame NEPA not working on Buhari. You blame everything becomes Buhari's fault. Isn't that where we are? I mean, we've got to lay the blame on the right spot.
So now,
but again, look, I'm not here to fight for Atiku. He can do that very well by himself. But I'm just saying that, and it's a common thing we do in campaigns, and all the parties are guilty of it.
We're not improving.
Okay, now let's complete this section of the interview that he granted to channels, where he talked about his interest rates, talked about the dollar parity, as we did see at the beginning. Then we can, when we take turn, marry these together with the question that I asked earlier. So pardon me so that we can finish this quickly.
And the moment fear set in, and notice that this is a government who cannot manage fear. This is a government that cannot manage the people's sensibilities. One fear sparked off another. So the fear of Nigerians who were selling $1,000, $2,000 daily, and you have hundreds of them funding the market, felt, look, if indeed the dollar is going to fall and we can see it falling, it's better to hold it back. That holding back scared investors who otherwise would go into Nigerian portfolio investment. The foreign exchange fluctuation risk heightened. This is what happened. So it is critically important you read the gestures in the economy right. If you don't, the wrong information will continue to be passed out there. I cannot claim to come out here and tell you new things you've never had before, but I'm in that business. I will tell you what the truth is. And the truth is that we have lost 60% of our net worth as a country, simply because we had a government that cannot manage our economy.
At that point, let me, because you used the word fear and scare.
Yeah.
Now, those two words are used in relation to another subject, which was also a plank of this administration's campaign when it wanted office in 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
And that's security. How do you think they've done in the last 3 years? I mean, take, for example, let's start with the battle against the insurgency in the Northeast, Boko Haram principally. How have they done in that regard?
They have done very, very badly.
Why do you say that?
Thank you. There are specific technical points in winning a battle, and there are measurable outcomes in winning a war. I will use two clear examples. When the Nigerian Civil War ended, it was instant. The very next day, you could feel, you could breathe freedom and liberty. Brothers who were at war were embracing each other the next day. They were being readmitted back into the Nigerian society with open arms. This is not happening in the case of insurgency. Where are the perpetrators? At large. Where are their equipment, their weapons? At large. The territory claimed to be seized. Is government effectively holding that territory? No. The internally displaced persons who lived in those territories, have they been returned? And when they are returned, has their life gone back to normal? No. In all these I have listed, I'm telling you, no, 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 no. Abuja is at least 10 to 15% more in population because of IDPs. You see them on the road. In fact, I have lived in an area where in the last 10 years, I have never seen street hawking. In the last 3 years, there are days when I'm going to work, and the traffic there, I count between 80 to 100 destitutes every day that I pass by. Even at night, even at midnight, you count destitutes. Thank you, Buhari. This is what you've done to us.
Now, I like the way he ended it. He thanked Buhari for doing a fantastic job. In the words of Buhari's, Buhari on his own, he's the one that spoke about taking us from top to bottom. And indeed, promise fulfilled. Now, if I bring back, I think, permit me to get Sheikh Analo here. Sheikh, if you listen to him and you listen to the point he raised, the feelings of the president, where we now have IDPs, this was in the run-up to 2019 election. almost 4 years ago that he made this statement. Since the time he made this statement and he made this allegation to President Muhammadu Buhari, now 4 years on, what's your take?
Well, so the Buhari's administration is one I've always had a take on, even before he became president. I was like, Buhari was going to win, and it was important he won that election. Reason being that he was going to perform so poorly that Nigerians will wake up.
And we are weak, actually.
Actually, the kind of participation you're seeing in politics today, everybody can tell that people have been woken up. The real reality is facing everybody in the face. You know, in 2015, the Jonathan's administration was doing not so well, but the way I see it is the fact that Nigeria has this problem where we always do this I pass my neighbor thing. You know, like if I am scoring 35 and every other person is scoring 15, it's assumed that I am doing excellently well. That's what most Nigerians perceive. But they fail to understand that the global standard should be what you go by. So that you're doing 35% and every other person is scoring 15 doesn't make you excellent. It's what it just simply says is what you're doing better than your neighbor, but you're not even getting the average. You're not passing. You understand? At that point, so we want excellence, but Nigerians at the point we are very like docile and be like, okay, yes, we are okay with it. You know, people could get their basic meals and all of that. And when Buhari came on board, it was the fact that he was going to perform so poorly. And we've seen it. Insecurity is choking everybody in the country. Every region of the country is insecure at the moment. You understand? If you talk about the education, we've seen ASU on strike, and we're talking about people at APC is gladly campaigning with ASU on strike. Is that not questionable? If you want to talk about our economy, they said they were going to change the dollar rate. Right now, the pound is like 700 to naira, right? 1 pound is like 700 to a naira. So from technical defeat of insecurity in the north east, what have we seen today? People are displaced all over the place. We've seen food insecurity as well, not just insecurity as in terms of structure. We've seen a case of where kidnapping is becoming the order of the day. You know, like in the past, like I was born and brought up in Kaduna. Going to Abuja from Kaduna was a normal thing. It was like just any other walk. The last time I was visiting Nigeria, my parents wouldn't even allow me, do you understand, do anything. For every single day I had to go to Kaduna, it was a full day trip. At one point, I had to actually fly from Kaduna to Lagos, you understand, to be able to get back to Abuja. That is how bad it was. Like, so, you understand, I had to go from a flight from Kaduna direct to Lagos, then flew from Lagos to Abuja because the train, it was difficult to get ticket. And that day, I needed to be in Abuja urgently and things like that. Do you want to talk about the flight space as well? Cancellation of flights and everything. Just tell me one thing that you can call in Nigeria that is working now. Is it petrol that you're seeing? Is it power supply that we're seeing? So like you said, it was top to bottom and everything at the moment right now. But the most important thing now is that we've seen what? People are now aware that governance affect their day-to-day life. People now know that your security is actually your government. Nigerians are waking up. We might not see everything in 2023 election, but the fact is we're headed somewhere. I just hope that we will never slip back. That momentum that we're seeing is a positive thing that has come out from. And if you're doing into research, you understand that everything has its pros and cons. Why the cons from the Buhari's administration is that he took us to bottom. The positive side of it is what? Nigerians are much awake now and everybody's participating in this election and these processes. And if we start doing that, we hope that going forward, we will get to that point where even a councillor is going to be held accountable and know that it is no longer business as usual. We will get to that point where before somebody does anything, people would know that, like, look at what's happening on social media today. Once you say anything, people will give you your receipt straight up. There's nobody wasting time for you. So now people are beginning to get consciousness to know that what I do 4 or 5 years ago would always come back to haunt me, and people are becoming more conscious and all of that. So basically, I would say Buhari has taken us down, but the good thing is what? We're waking and we're trying to take back our country, and God willing, we are going to be able to make it and get our country back to a working country that everybody will be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sheikh Analo there. Very, very, straight to the point, and I love the analogy. And Ken, Ken Ayuba, are you able to speak?
Yes, Mazi. Well, I don't really have much more to say. I think, Sheikh, you made very great points, and you sort of alluded to most of the issues which we all know we have experienced in the last 8 years or so. But I think one point I just even wanted to add in terms of the security piece, especially going forward, for His Excellency Pitobi and post-election, is the fact that security is a big issue in Nigeria. And, I do a lot of work around investments, sort of, trade and investment between Canada and Africa, which is the core of what I do. And I can't tell you how many times I've had to battle with stakeholders because of the fact that every time they want to make a move to Nigeria, one of the biggest issues is the insecurity. In fact, if you go to the Canada Global Affairs website, there's full travel advisory around Nigeria in every aspect. So all the parts of Nigeria, it's more like travel at your own risk, including Lagos and Abuja. When you look at other countries who have that list, who are on that list as well, you have countries like Yemen, you have countries like Somalia, like you have countries that are effectively in war, in conflict. And these are countries that Nigeria is on the same list as. So that tells you the amount of damage we have that we need to fix. And you have leaders who don't have a clue. All they focus on is finding ways to win the next election, finding ways to share akara and beans or whatever it is to the masses, whom, a lot of them have become so traumatized with poverty that they don't know their left from the right. So even when we finally get it right with security, there's a whole piece around rebranding, image cleansing, which we have to go through as a country. And that's why, our principle, there's a lot of work to be done around, making sure that all the various stakeholders understand that Nigeria has moved from where it used to be, this security is gone, and then, of course, understand that Nigeria is open, because we know how, no matter what it is that we are doing in Nigeria, that piece around globalization is something we can never remove. The world is no longer a village, and we cannot really function on our own. We always still have to find ways to do business investment with all these various countries. So I think going forward, there's a lot of work to do around this security. The economy is a big deal, and there isn't a lot of time. Come 2023, once we have a new government, our principal has to get to work in terms of trying to stimulate the economy, start looking. I love how he spends so much time talking about using the land to make money, like, agriculture and some of these pieces. These are areas that are traditionally not been so emphasized. We've heard the past regime talking about how much they've done investment in agriculture, but you're still doing so much on subsistence agriculture. There isn't so much technology because of the mindset of those who are in leadership. Because for them, they think agriculture is just sending 100 cows and then cutting them and sending beef across Nigeria. When other countries are using high-tech equipment to create food, using all sorts of things to ensure that, food insecurity is something that we don't have anymore. So I'm really, personally, I'm very excited about the prospects. Personally, I think these are individuals that when they get into power, they understand what time it is. They understand the standards that the world has set up. Like Sheikh mentioned, this whole mindset of lesser evil needs to end. In Igbo land, there's something they say, meaning small shit is shit. So we can't keep saying, oh, this one has tried small, so let's vote him. That is why when you see some of these candidates come up, we say, oh, the other one is so bad, but at least this one did A, B, and C. But at the end of the day, these are individuals who do not care about the country. But now, for the first time, we have an individual coming to lead us who cares about the country, who loves the country, who just wants to come in and do the right thing like he has done in Anambra State. So once again, for those of us who are here, there's a lot of work to be done, and every one of us has a critical role to play. It's beyond social media. We see what's going on with the PVCs. For some of us in diaspora, there's still a lot of role for us to play around sensitization, supporting the campaign, all the work, Mazi, you're doing as well in terms of, bringing up some of these excellent marketing strategies and things to really project our candidates. Let's keep doing it, and hopefully in 2023, we'll have what we've never dreamed that we'll be having in our generation come to fruition. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my brother. And Sydney?
Yeah.
Kindly unmute.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I would say 4 things from the interview. 1, young. 2, foresight. 3, direct. And The fourth thing I saw is decisiveness. These four things are very critical for this team, team that is being created. You can see that from his directness. He's very direct person. He's not messing around. And if you look at what Pitobi said, he said, I need somebody to tell me, Commander-in-Chief, you are wrong. I think this way is not going to work. And if you cannot give him in 3 meetings, you're out. So I think this team is going to be decisive. This team is young, is cerebral, and they understand that, like what Ken said, that the time now is now. They are on time. They need to be on time. So these four things are what I see. So what do they need to do? Number one is that we've got the vice president tick now. They need to be clear. There must be a clear, precise plan of messaging to the Nigerian people, to every fabric of Nigeria. Starting with Oshun, we need to start having a clear messaging that will hit every cadre of society, those on the lowest cadre to the highest cadre. They need to create a plan where all the groups will begin to coalesce to that plan and objective in terms of manifesto, in terms of messaging. 2, there must be a well-articulated path to victory. You see, I like the emotions, I like the excitement. However, there must be a path to victory. Even for myself, I'm asking myself, what is Pitobi's path to victory? He's not going to win all the states. He's not going to win everywhere. So when we know our path to victory, then we can try to lock it in. We can try to put as much as we can to make sure that, irrespective of anything, this is the pathway to victory. Number 3 is they need to, I think I've heard him say it, they are creating a good team. Now, a good team is not necessarily just professionals. They must have politically astute and cerebral. One of the things I've noticed in most of the governments is they don't have somebody that has the ability to synergize between the Senate, House of Rep, and the executive. Not just the Senate president. They must have a very good operator that understands and says, look, Senate, this is the way the government needs to move, and begin to streamline the Senate from day one. The truth is that the Nigerian Senate, they're all toothless dogs. Most of the time, they're toothless. If you have a strong presidency, executive, there's so much power there, they will begin to tilt to where the executive is moving. And if they don't tilt, look, we have a lot of EFCC and all that stand by. I'm not saying they should be winch hunt, but they should do their job, and everybody will sit up. So I believe in decisiveness. The fourth thing I think is, how do they navigate Nigeria's financial crisis? The truth is this: I don't expect magic. We don't expect sudden miracles. We have to be realistic. Nigeria is in a financial crisis. It will take a lot of months of working it together as a people and as a government. I believe if the government and the people come to a plan, to a vision, we can achieve it. What I see is not 8 years. I see 16 years to redirect and re-engineer this country. So they must have a clear, short-term plan every 4 years, but they must see it beyond 4 years, that to re-engineer this country, that in the next 8 years, if by the grace of God, he comes into power, that as he's going out of power and handing over to a younger Datti or a younger whoever is coming next, it will be a country that has been re-engineered politically, re-engineered economically, re-engineered in every aspect. And that in these few years, even diaspora voting will be enabled, so that everybody in the diaspora will even find a sense of belonging because of the volume that is coming into the country. So their work is cut out for them, and I think they will get there.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully, Mazi, you may be one of the ministers. I cannot even, you may not even know. So.
I can't even find my certificate, and you're talking about me. on a serious note, thank you very much. And FCC Jones, if you're there, or Patrick Vyshensky. I think perhaps someone else new join us.
Patrick is here.
Okay, Patrick, your parting word.
Yes, my parting word for today is first and foremost, I want to thank you, Njenje Media, for a wonderful job you are doing. I want to thank all the obedient people for the move. We thank God this thing is just not just Pitobi and Datti, but it's a move for the liberation of Nigeria. I want to congratulate our newly picked vice president to be Datti. The choice couldn't have been better. He's a fine man that has displayed a high level of cerebral capability. So a combination of Pitobi and Datti will definitely move Nigeria to where it needs to be. But my parting word here is there's still work to be done. I will want every election before the presidential election for Labour Party to have a fantastic showing. If we can't win it, we should not be less than second or third place, because every election is either going to increase the morale of the people or cause some despair. So I want a total participation on the part of both our principal, the vice president to be, and everybody in Labour Party to ensure that every election, prior to the final election, presidential election, is done with all seriousness that it deserves, so that Labour Party will have a wonderful showing and we'll be able to get all our. To do that, we need to get our structures in place. And I know things are already happening right now, and the task is enormous, but nevertheless, I am very optimistic about success.
Thank you very much. Then FCC Jones, are you there now? Can you unmute? Just quickly.
I can hear you.
Your final take, yes. Your final take, FCC.
Okay, I think we are on good stead. More motivated. I feel we are marching to victory if we do not take our eyes off the goal. We need to work harder. We need to make more researches. We need to up our game in areas where we don't seem to be doing well. And I think as difficult as it seems currently, in the next few months, things will get clearer, and Nigerians will be happier if they take the right decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, FCC. That was very quick and straight to the point. Now, Kingsley just joined us, but it appears his internet is not letting him in. But Sheikh Analu has said his final words. I think I'll now have that Dr. Akin Fapohunda that he runs on days. Your words to Peter and to Datti, what you think they should be doing next.
Okay. Now, for very brilliant people, the determination is to think that you can do everything and you know all. Coming from the background of command and control system where the guy at the top knows everything, that would be a very grave mistake. It would be nice for them to see Nigeria as different zones, not political now, economic zones, and prepare a blueprint for each zone. Mark my words, I'm not saying political, economic zones that can continue developing along its own resources. It's very, very important. The second point is that they need to set up panels to prepare blueprints and plans. Luckily, there are almost 7 months ago. I will have a 3-month plan terminating sometime in October, where all the issues will have been tackled by small groups of people between 7 and 9 panels on governance structure. We can't continue hemorrhaging with 36 states paying salaries. We can't continue with 74 local government the way they are. So we have to prepare for a new governance that is not very wasteful. The country is bankrupt. There have to be new ways of doing things. In fact, if they can achieve us to think anew that government is not about sharing, as the president candidate has said, from consumption to production. If you don't change the framework, you cannot but be consuming. You have to change the game totally. So they have 3 to 5 months to prepare a plan that can be sold 2 months to election to Nigerians. They have to re-engineer the country. And they have to put more hands on the deck. They cannot do it alone. I wish them well. I thank you very much for giving us the chance to talk this evening too. Greetings to everybody.
So thank you very much, Dr. Fapahunde. It's been indeed, and you know, I must say that it has been an enjoyable experience for me and for everyone listening to us, and for your time also, for your time in sitting down there for the last 2 hours, and we have looked at this. Now, again, for Nigerians watching us there, we say thank you very much. Also, information reaching me now says that Dr. Datti Ahmed will be on Arise TV and the channel's television this night. But I think Arise, they say it's 7 o'clock, but I'm looking at Arise here. I could not see that he's yet on. But again, if you may wish to flip between these 2 channels, 7 and 9, you may be able to catch up with him there. If need be, and, you know, if something that if he gets on and something he's saying is so interesting that we all need to amplify that, we may also plug in order to stream that on this platform. On this note, I will say thank you very much, Sydney Ibokwe and Dr. Akin Fapahunde. Thank you for being a fantastic guest this evening. I am still Maze Zoke. Thanks and good night to all.